supposed to rain today. It is starting to heat up, but I have my handy dandy spray bottle. Just let me cool you off just a little bit. Does that feel better? I need it. This first story is called Being Held Against My Will by a Creep. I don't really feel comfortable talking about this in real life for a number of reasons that I think will become clear, but I am struggling a bit with nightmares and memories now, so I figured maybe I'd share this. Trigger warning for violence, sexual assault, and threats. I won't be detailing anything, but it will be mentioned. It will be a long one, as I am terrible at brevity. So, when I was younger, I was in the sex industry. My past was full of trauma, and I was struggling with disassociation and self-loathing, which made me care less about the potential dangers that comes with it. At the time, I was 19 and mentally ill. I was living in a country with quite liberal laws, and I was very lonely and isolated. It made for a perfect storm where I ended up getting hurt very often and coming across multiple creeps, but this particular one really scared me. The guy I was seeing and I had agreed to meet up by the train station and go to a hotel together. He was supposed to have a room already, and walking there together usually meant getting in easier. Being in a hotel was very important to me, as there was at least some sort of security. If something got out of hand, I would be able to leave the room and immediately get the attention of someone nearby. When I see the John, late 30s, early 40s, at the station, he strikes me as very twitchy. Can't stand still, is talking really fast, doesn't really seem to give direct answers to questions. Simple things like, "Oh, it is starting to rain. Is it far to the hotel?" And the answer would be, "Rain is good for the crops. Happy that it's coming down. Finally, it has been really sunny. I am going on vacation soon." It's odd, but benign, so I follow him where he tells me to go. We circle around for a bit, and he seems really unsure where to get to, so eventually I offer to pull out Google Maps and give him the names of the nearby hotels, just to see if that will help him remember where we are going. I assume he is just booked for the night and that the nervousness is getting the better of his memory. As we enter the hotel, he starts acting really weird. He is aggressively grabbing my arm and physically placing me as far from reception I can get while still in the building, telling me to wait there and not make a sound so he doesn't get found out, which is very unstrategic, as it will come across as much more odd than if I am just standing with him being pleasant. I don't look like someone in the industry to other people. I am nerdy and chubby and was dressed in a trench coat and office-appropriate clothes. When he comes back, he lets me know that they are fully booked for the night, which confuses me. But I suggest we go next door, as there is a second hotel. He agrees, but this time tells me to wait outside while he speaks to them. It is raining hard, so I am a bit annoyed at the suggestion, but he comes off as angry, so I don't want to question him. Again, he comes out and lets me know that they are fully booked. I start to feel a bit uneasy and should have realized the massive red flag that this this was, as we weren't in a busy area, but I ignored the pit in my stomach. He says that he lives nearby and tells me we can go there instead, and even adds, "My neighbors are away, so it is better. We can be as loud as we need to be, and that might be necessary considering what I want to do to you." Which, in retrospect, is absolutely terrifying. His place is a 10-minute walk away, and by that point, I have come to understand that having a conversation with this man is absolutely impossible. He talks in very lengthy, usually run-on sentences, and he seems to lose track of where he is going halfway through. He gets randomly upset from 0 to 100 and then calms down as quickly again. I feel unsafe, but have no idea how the heck to get myself out of this situation. Everywhere we walked after leaving the hotels was like unpopulated back alleys, so I couldn't find a good reason to excuse myself, and making him angry when there was no one around felt like a bad move. So I follow him into the apartment, and it just further confirms that something is not quite right. His living room has just towers upon towers of moving boxes, a workout machine, a 90s looking TV, and a sofa. It is bare, and the boxes take up most of the room. There are some women's pumps by the door, so I figured he had a spouse that he was cheating on. Normally, people start to engage in the activities we are there for quite quickly, as they are paying for my time. This man did not. He seemed to just want to talk. As he is telling me stories, they are getting more and more convoluted and frightening. He lets me know that he is in the mafia and that there are guys following him, that he takes people out. He is the voice of God, etc., etc. It is clear to me that he isn't at all grounded in reality, and I keep trying to get him on track so that I can finish what I came here for and leave as soon as possible. He doesn't respond to my flirting, and at some point in the storytelling, he goes over to the moving boxes and pulls out a massive Ziploc bag with pills in it, and he tries to tell me to take a couple of them. When I decline, he starts shouting at me, saying that this is my payment and that I have to take them. I am de-escalating as best as I can while he's very much up in my face. I realized that the strange behavior he had exhibited definitely came from being high and maybe a drug-related psychosis. I hadn't been around drugs that much, so I didn't recognize the signs, but the pills made it very clear. I focus on trying to distract him by talking about other things while standing up so that I could bolt for the door. He seemingly calms down until he realizes I'm about to leave and that I am moving towards the hallway. That is when things take a turn for the worst. Without giving too many details, I was really badly assaulted over a long period of time. He became less erratic as time passed and more frightening. At one point, he had me tied up and threatened me with a kitchen knife, telling me in very graphic terms that I would die and what he would do to my body. He ended up not using the knife, but he did a lot of other things, some that were just plain weird or humiliating. Not much of it seemed sexually motivated. It was strange impulses he had, combined with a lot of anger. We had agreed on 1 hour, meeting up around 5, but at this point, I have asked to be allowed to leave multiple times, and he has kept me there through the night. I can see the sun starting to rise again, so figure it is quite early in the morning. He had small windows near the ceiling, as it was a basement flat, and I am so grateful for them, as it helped me keep sane, to physically see time passing, because it felt like I had been there forever. is very disturbing. The way she's written it out, I can imagine it all very vividly, and to be in this situation is just so unfair and terrifying. I really am glad she lives through this. Okay, back to the story. I was starting to understand that he had no plans to let me go, and that was confirmed when he said that he was happy I wanted to be his girlfriend. He must have taken something else around this point, because he was suddenly becoming more impulsive, twitchy, and erratic again. He decided that he needed alcohol. At this point, I was struggling to walk properly and had a very hard time breathing because I was in pain. I was pretty sure he had cracked a rib. Turned out later that yep, he absolutely did. He still wanted to bring me outside for reasons I do not quite understand, but I am thankful for that. We ended up getting a cab from a park near his house. My therapist asked me why I didn't ask for help there, but I was so scared, and I knew that he had a knife with him, and I really did not want to get stabbed that day. When we got out of the cab, he walked me around for a while, one hand on my neck. He brought me to a store where he got 2 bottles of wine. I tried to indicate to the shopkeeper that I was in distress by making faces at him as the guy was looking away, but he didn't do anything. I looked disheveled and had clear marks of violence, so I'm really surprised no one tried to help me. He paraded me around for a while, mostly on smaller streets, and kept encouraging me to drink the bottle of wine. I made it look like I was drinking by putting my tongue over the hole, and he didn't seem to notice that I wasn't drinking much. He stopped me by a dumpster to fill me up, and I was able to put the wine down as he finished his bottle without him noticing I hadn't drank mine. The guy started talking about going back to his, and that he had more toys he wanted me to see and clothes he wanted me to wear. I pretended to be very into it to keep him as calm as possible as I tried to figure out how to get away. I was wearing heels and was in a lot of pain, so there was no way I could outrun him if I didn't catch him by surprise. My gut feeling told me that if I ended up back at his apartment, I would never get out, so I was willing to risk my life to get away from him at this point. By a stroke of luck, we ended up passing on the other side of the street to a bus stop, and I saw that a bus was supposed to pull in. Realizing I only had one shot, I elbowed him in the side and sprinted. I don't think I have ever run that fast, and I remember just hoping I would not fall because my balance in hills is the worst. He came running after me, and I remember asking the bus driver to please just drive as soon as I got on, and luckily he listened. He was also super sweet and asked if I was alright, if I needed any help. I was crying and a blubbering mess, so I really appreciate how gentle this poor man was as he was trying to get through his workday. I'm like about to cry. Okay. The bus did not go to my home as I was in a completely different place, but he helped me figure out how to get to a different train station than the one where the guy lived and how to get home from there. The guy looked really pissed when the bus drove off, and I'm very glad I wasn't within reach. Later, I found a message from him on my Facebook. It turned out he had checked my bag and my ID to find out my real name. He thanked me for the date and said he looked forward to seeing me again. He said he loved me. I blocked him and took myself to the hospital that day, but I didn't report it to the police until a year later when I moved out of the country, as I was scared he would come for me. I really regret not doing more, but I am trying to have compassion with my 19-year-old self, who was very frightened and overwhelmed. The police did a full interview over the phone when I told them, but I never heard anything else. They seemed to kind of check out as I explained I had been in the sex industry. So I'm not sure if he just knew I couldn't let that happen. It is the strangest gut reaction I have ever had. I was honestly sure I would die. I still wonder if those pumps came from a girlfriend, or if this wasn't the first time he did the same thing, and he had some other poor girl's shoes. Either way, I hope he is locked up somewhere and that I never have to see him again. And that is the end of this story. This story was a long one, but it was definitely disturbing as fuck. I don't know, honestly. This what she said this happened in 2013, I believe. So 9 years ago. Hopefully he's somewhere. Terrible is all I can really say. I'm glad she survived, and she has a therapist, and she has sympathy for her past self, who was honestly so brave. Okay, on to story 2. This story is called I Was Followed Home from Walmart Last Night. I live in South Georgia, so things over here can be really shady. I go to this Walmart all the time, and I've never had problems with it whatsoever. I'm a 21-year-old male, so it's kind of weird that I was followed. Anyways, here we go. I went shopping for groceries, doing my usual thing. It was around 8:30 p.m. by the time I got done checking out. As I was walking out of the store, I noticed this older gentleman staring at me, all creepy like. I just brushed it off until I noticed he was out in the parking lot staring as I was putting my groceries in the car. I decided to kind of hurry up the pace. I can defend myself. I'm a pretty muscular guy, but I don't like violence that much. I got in my car, started to drive away, and I thought that was that. I get about a mile down the road when this black pickup started riding my bumper. I slowed down and went off the road a little to let him pass, and he didn't. He kept pace. I finally brake checked him and he passed, but as he was doing that, I noticed it was the same old man. When he passed me, he brake checked me and tried to make me stop my car. This went on for 10 minutes until I got very aggravated and passed him and sped off. I finally got home, got inside, and started to chill out when my Ring camera went off. I looked at the video from my phone, and this dude was on my porch. I called the cops. They came, but he was gone, so there wasn't anything they could do. This happened last night, and I'm kind of creeped out about that experience, so I thought I'd share. This story was posted 13 hours ago, so hopefully nothing comes of this story that was just 13 hours ago or so. Hopefully this old man does not come back to his house. Whatever his intentions are, they are not good. On to story 3. This story is called Creepy Man Comes Onto My Porch in the Middle of the Night and Tries to Enter My House. This happened about 10 years ago, but still creeps me out when I think about it. At the time, I was 18, living in a more crime-prone area of downtown Savannah, Georgia. Hey, this is Georgia as well. I didn't notice that before. With my older sister, we lived together in this super old, decrepit house and both worked at a nearby club. Not that it's super relevant, but we were both exotic dancers at the time, so our work hours were odd, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Her boyfriend who had been living there was in jail at the time. I know, we were real winners back then. Generally, we would both work the same shifts. On this particular evening, I was tired and didn't feel like going in, so she went without me. We didn't really have internet or cable, just DVDs and my cell phone, so I would frequently spend my nights on the porch listening to music and smoking a few cigarettes. It was starting to get late, maybe 10 or 11 p.m., and I noticed a figure in the distance coming up the sidewalk. I didn't think much of it. A lot of people walk store downtown, and we had a pretty large homeless population. But then I noticed he seemingly noticed me and crossed the street to the sidewalk that ran in front of my house. I did not budge. I wasn't scared of much back then. I had seen a lot of crazy shit, so an unassuming man approaching at night didn't bother me in the slightest. As he got closer, I could see he was a dirty, older gentleman, likely homeless. I stared down at my phone. A few seconds later, I looked up, and that's when I saw him, a few feet away from me on my porch, just standing there, staring at me. I got a chill down my spine. I didn't want to threaten the guy and potentially escalate the situation, so instead I just said, "Hey man, what's up?" He immediately started talking faster than my brain could keep up. I assumed the guy was sacked out of his mind on drugs or something. I had no clue what he was saying, but a few words were clear. "Hey baby, hang out, find stupid bitch, kill." I froze. I decided to try and play it cool by asking the guy if he wanted a cigarette. He nodded, and I slowly got up to pass him to get to my front door. I explained to him they were inside, and he would have to leave after I gave him one, as my sister's boyfriend was home, and I'd get in trouble for having people over to their house without permission. He seemingly accepted that. I handed him a cigarette and went to close the door. Something told me to hurry, and so I did. I slammed the door shut and locked it. I looked through the peephole and saw him filling his pockets like he was looking for something. I could hear him mumbling gibberish and cursing while trying to open my door. I panicked, ran to the back door to let our 3 large dogs in, a Rottweiler and 2 pit bulls. They are sweet, but very loud and scary sounding if you didn't know them. Their barking seemed enough to scare him away. I called my sister over and over until she picked up. I was freaking out, explaining what happened. She told me to lock all doors and she would be home in a few hours. Okay. Hindsight, I wish I had called the police. That's what I was just thinking, as I was terrified the rest of the night and every sound startled me. Even after my sister got home, I never saw the man again, and I stopped sitting outside alone at night. A week later, down the street from us, a young girl in her early teens was dragged into an alley while waiting for the city bus and was drugged, beaten, and sexually assaulted. I still don't know what came of that. They never caught the guy. I called and reported what happened to me. I still wonder if that would have been me had I not gone inside. Shortly after, we moved away and got different jobs. That's the end of that disturbing fucking story. I'm so glad she got away, but it's really tragic. What happened to that teenage girl? Another one for the books. Okay, on to the 4th creepy story. This story is called "The Time My Friend and I Were Stalked at Night." This happened in 2017 when I was 20 and my best friend at the time was 19. On this particular night, Rose and I decided to get drunk and smoke some weed, which wasn't unusual for us before we went out on our midnight stroll. We typically feel safe since we lived on campus in a college town and there were usually people out and about at late hours. We decided to roam around in an area on campus, and for some reason not many people were out this night. I think it was a school night. We were just shooting the shit, walking and laughing, when Rose mentioned to me that she thought the vehicle behind us was following us. We looked at each other, both weary, but thought maybe we were just being paranoid because we were stoned. But as 2 young women alone at night, regardless, you can never be too sure. Ain't that the truth? So, to test out this theory, we decided to take several random routes in which the car followed us for all of them. At this point, we're getting nervous and decided to walk faster, and of course, We said fuck it, locked hands, and started running until we found a building, but it was locked. This is when the man, who looked much older than us, although I didn't get a good look because it was dark and I was freaking out, decided to get out of his car and start speed walking towards us. He wasn't saying anything throughout all of this, which somehow made it more bizarre. Shitting ourselves, we took off again in a different direction. I could see, as I was looking over my shoulder, that he was speed walking back to his car. Rose and I found a different building, which luckily happened to be unlocked. I don't even remember what kind of building this was. It was a faculty building of some sort, but nobody was around. We both ran inside, still locking hands, and found a public restroom, where we were so scared that we turned off all the lights and hid in the stall. Neither her nor I knew for sure if he saw us coming in. As we were shitting bricks, I decided to call my roommates to come pick us up, but none of them were answering. I debated calling 911, but we were both too paranoid to do that because we were stoned. Stupid, I know. After some time had passed, we decided to walk cautiously towards the door that we came in from, and saw the guy in the car was still out there patrolling the area, clearly looking for us. So the good news, at least, is that he did not see where we went. I could see that he stopped next to another building, turned off his car, and waited for a bit. This was more unnerving to me than anything. Eventually, he gave up and fucked off, which is when we decided to run all the way back home to my place. To this day, I have no idea what this guy was trying to pull, but it couldn't have been anything good. I'm just glad we eventually made it home safe that night. And that's the end of that story. A lot of creepy stalker stories tonight. Reading these stories makes me paranoid, but it's good to hear other people's stories, and also it makes you on high alert for yourself as well, because you don't want any of this shit happening to you, your friends, your kids, anyone. So to all those fuckers out there who stalk people and sexually abuse people, I wish they would go to hell. But we do live in a reality where that's not the case. Anyway, I hope you found these stories as crazy as I did. They were all very well written, and I will link all the stories down below, so if you want to go read them yourselves or talk to the writers of these stories yourselves, you absolutely can. That is it for this video today. If you enjoyed it,